50-50 relationships then?
Honestly, to each his own. Okay. I ain't mad at nobody because what works for somebody works. There is a woman out here who never wants to pay a bill a day in her life. And guess what? There is a man out here who wants a woman to not work. I want my woman to never work. There is somebody out here for everybody. So I need everybody to stop being upset for people's preferences. Right. Your preference is your preference and strive for it. You know what I mean? If you're a 50-50 guy, don't check for the shorty that is looking to be taken care of.
Good, everybody. Hope all is well. This is Zachary King from the Future is Female podcast, and I'm here with the beautiful
Coretta. You guys can call me Coco.
Nice to meet you. Glad to have you on the platform. With that being said, please tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself.
College grad. I have my own cleaning business. I'm very creative, from music to art to dishes and upscale tiles, elegant tiles. I can do whatever, pictures, doesn't matter. And I'm a loving mother of 2 young men. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Talk a little bit about your cleaning business. How you got started,
Well,
what's
my
your journey been like?
inspiration to even want to clean actually came from my grandmother. Shout out to Ruthie Lee Connor. Cheekbones on fleek. She, as the youngest grandchild at the time, I have like a host of cousins that are way older than me. Let's talk 5, 8 years, you know what I mean? So morning time, Sunday, Saturday mornings, I'm at grandmom's. She has me in her etiquette room, teaching me etiquette, and she's bossing them around and telling them how to clean. When they're done cleaning, it was always my job to go around with her and clear the woodworks. And as we're going through the woodworks, we're actually critiquing my cousins and my sibling work. And if they got it wrong, grandma will pull them in and direct them on how it's to be done. And I was picking up all those pointers. Fast forward, that's always stuck with me. I've never had a problem with cleaning. Love cleaning. Actually, it's very therapeutic. Fast forward, 7 years ago, I want to say 2017. My cousin comes to me, say, hey, cuz, you want to clean a business? I said, hey, why not? Let me mess around and find out. And I started off with a franchise to go in and learn everything that I needed to learn. I did that, made some great accomplishments, and I was with them for 2 years. So these last 4 years has definitely been on me.
Great. No, that sounds really inspiring. You talked a lot about your grandmom, okay? And how your grandmom showed you the way, showed you how to be etiquette, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming your grandmom is from the old school.
Yes, my grandmom is definitely old school. Like, even though she lived at 12th and Susquehanna at the time growing up, my grandmom still had her garden, strawberry patches. My grandmother had a farm. I remember like 3 little chickens running around on Susquehanna Avenue.
Right.
And in this etiquette room, she has those. She never had plastic on her couches either because that was her etiquette room. She didn't play that. But it was these 2 nice, really fine couches. And she would sit on one end and I would sit on the other. And she would bring out the layout of the forks, the knives, the spoons, the teas. I had to sit with my legs crossed at the ankle. I had to have my hands propped on my knee, sitting up straight, shoulders back, looking into the eyes, speaking with intent. Yeah. Shout out to grandma
Now,
for having me have some discernment for myself.
Now, as a father to a 14-year-old little girl, right? Yeah. Having etiquette. Did I say it right? Etiquette.
I love elegant etiquette.
Yeah,
I'm with that too.
That is something that is truly important to me, okay? But that is something that I feel like it has been lost among our sisters, unfortunately.
I'm here with that.
As of lately, I feel like our sisters have gotten away from being the symbol of high class. When I looked at black women at one point, I feel like black women was it. And then now, as time is going on, it seems like our women are losing that. I don't want to say. I just feel like they're losing that image. What's your thoughts on that?
I feel as though there is actually just a lot of there's too much gray area. There's no more black and white when it comes to it, because you could used to be able to tell a hoe from a decent woman. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There's too much gray area, and we can put a lot of responsibility on us, but at the end of the day, women want to be protected, women want to be taken care of. So you guys have to set the tone, and we will create that atmosphere.
Okay, so while that is absolutely true, that a woman wants to be protected, a woman wants to be provided for, if she does not want to listen, is it on me as a man to force her into submission?
It's on you as a man to see that and understand it. And if your guidance does not help her, that's not the woman for you. She's actually not a woman. She's a young lady trying to mature. I don't care if she's 23 or 42. If that's her mindset, she's a young woman trying to mature. Because any grown woman, 1 + 1 is 2. The synapses are snapping. I want love. I want protection. I want respect. And if this man is providing these things without the headache, 3 a.m. sandwiches is not up for debate. Just get up and do it, especially if he's paying all the bills. Whatever the case is, people are too stuck in a gray area. The black and white is a great place. Like they, what is it called? Those,
What's that?
What is it called when they say,
what's that?
Let me get it in my head. Not stereotypes. But
stereotypes exist for a reason.
No, not stereotypes. Double standards. Double standards is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Because as much as women say, oh well, how come men da-da-da-da-da? If you see a man that's doing da-da-da-da, leave him alone.
So give me an example of da-da-da-da-da. What is that? Like, give me an example. Give me an example of a double standard in our community.
It's okay for men to go and sleep around even if he is in a relationship or not. But it's not okay for women. And no, it's never going to be okay for women. But as a woman, if that's not your preference, you don't have to settle for that. So stop crying and complaining about the things that you're settling for. Because it's not a lot of it's plenty of men out here that doesn't care to have multiple women. I feel like the men who out here that need multiple women, they don't know how to manage their mental for real. So they need all these other things to keep them stimulated instead of actually being stimulated with themselves and getting to know themselves and doing that shadow work. So you're always pulling all these other things in instead of focusing.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think at this point in time, I think more men are being held, their feet are being held to the fire. I think at one point, men was celebrated for having multiple women. But I got to ask you this question right here.
Celebrated by who?
Society, even, and let me ask you this question.
Was it the woman of color society celebrating
and that was a question I was going to ask you.
Or was it that gray area of hoes?
No. This is the question I want to ask you is, do you think women actually want a good man?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So oftentimes when I ask this question to women, and I'm not saying you because I don't know your background personally, but I often got to say is, show me the cat facts, right? And what I mean by that is, show me the men that you actually been with. And oftentimes the men that they actually been with and the men they chose to procreate with don't look like the men that they actually say they want to be with. They don't look like the good man.
Oh, well, speaking from observation points.
And again, we're not talking, we're just talking about general.
No, I'm talking about observation because I'm not talking about me personally because I'm okay. Observation purposes for those women who do choose men who aren't adequate at the time, because men are allowed to grow too.
Okay.
So I feel as though there is a lot of basic level interactions and connections that makes that bond happen.
Right.
And people frivolously are just letting the dice fall wherever they fall, and everybody wants to be grown until it's time to take accountability or speak up or actually have something in place to do something, regardless if it's to create a family or whatever. When it comes to trying to work together, regardless of what kind of relationship it is, people always bounce off like negative magnets.
So is it that they're coming into the situation unequally yoked? Are they coming in here with too high standards? Like, why? What do you think is happening that's causing so many black households to basically crumble?
Lack of communication, lack of accountability. Like I said, that shadow work is something crazy. Like for me personally, I started doing shadow work at a really young age. When I say a young age, when everybody was ready to turn up and go to 9, 2, 3 and all of that, I'm 14 years old doing shadow work. And I didn't know what this was until at this age. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
But people aren't starting to do shadow work until now, 27, 32. And then...
Well, a lot of us, in their defense, a lot of us didn't know that we was damaged. A lot of us, we were just operating under this mindset.
That's poppycock. Because at 14, I knew there was damage.
But you can't...
You feel it.
You can't assume that... Like, I didn't know that I needed to do work until I went to prison, right? And I realized what caused me to go to prison. You know, like I just
overstimulation.
I just didn't know how to channel certain things because, you know, as a man, it was like you was told to be able to provide. You told that you need to have your shit together.
Yes.
So when you don't have your shit together as a man, when you hit a certain age, you feel like you're less than a man.
So that makes you feel overstimulated. All of those things that's replaying in your head is making you feel overstimulated because it's in your subconscious as you're trying to walk through life, and is bothering you, and it kind of pulls you away from really achieving because it's just like, ugh. And men don't have enough. You got this. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's true. Like no one came to me. Like I remember my uncle, and I remember telling him this is the first time I was in danger of my house was going on foreclosure. And I remember he was like, you know, you should have your shit together. I don't understand why this is not this and this. And then kind of found out he was going through the exact same thing. He was too embarrassed to talk about it. And the issue that he gave me. So a lot of it is so. But I didn't realize how broken I was as a man until I got alone in my cell.
But do you see what I'm saying? When I say overstimulated, doesn't mean literally.
No,
it means
I get
physically, it means emotionally. And you going away took everything away, and all you had to be with was yourself.
Right.
So all the stimulations, all of whatever those entities was that you thought that you had to think about and over worry about was a figment of your imagination. You didn't have to worry about those things because now that they're not here.
Well, okay, so while I definitely understand the point that you're making, I would not call them a figment of imagination because they are real things. Like people do go through they may not have manifested yet, but the fears that they have is true. Like fear is a real thing, you know, and I don't want to get into the place where we're just splitting hairs, you know, like, yes, I totally agree. If you call it overstimulus, you know, being overly stimulated, I agree with that. But I also understand that we have things that are barriers and things that we must break through. And a lot of that stuff has also stemmed from not having the tools when we was coming up in age. A lot of us, you know,
that's
in
where
the
the
black
overstimulation
community
starts.
A lot of us in the black community, we really didn't have great examples of what does healthy relationships look like? What does productive households look like? You know, and then now when you take social media where there's so much talk around 50-50 and I'm not being this one person. Happy. I mean, I would agree. You know, I would agree. What's your thoughts on 50-50 relationships then?
Honestly, to each his own. Okay. I ain't mad at nobody because what works for somebody works. There is a woman out here who never wants to pay a bill a day in her life. And guess what? There is a man out here who wants a woman to not work. I want my woman to never work. There is somebody out here for everybody. So I need everybody to stop being upset for people's preferences. Right. Your preference is your preference and strive for it. You know what I mean? If you're a 50-50 guy, don't check for the shorty that is looking to be taken care of.
I agree.
Go holler at the shorty that work at Home Depot. She's more likely to want to go 50-50. No shade. But I'm just saying.
Home Depot, though?
I'm just saying she's willing to get it out the mud. That's all I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Certain jobs let you know, like, me personally, I wouldn't mind doing 50-50 with a plan in place because I'm not paying any bills. I'm not doing it. And that's not to say, oh, my money is for me. If I have money, that means if my man is paying all the bills, that means I have more than enough free time to figure out how to invest my money, invest his money, and be saving on the back end and having and buying properties. Let me use my mind because my mind is amazing. I'm like an octopus when it comes to knowledge. I'm grabbing it. I'm pulling everything together. I can literally create something from nothing if I had that freedom and space. But if you're asking me to step out of my feminine essence to also help partake in what the double standard should be that I am okay with,
So it takes you out of your feminine essence to take care of your household.
To have to work and know I have to pay a bill.
Right.
Yeah, because if I have to work and know I got to pay for got to take care of my kids, that's different, right?
So I just want to know
because that's already part of a woman's genetics to take care of the home.
So it's masculine to pay bills.
Yes.
And it's feminine not to pay bills.
Yes.
So I'm
never taking out the trash. I'm here for double standards. I'm never taking out the trash.
So because
I have never taken out the trash a day in my life. I swear to God.
No. So okay. So
even when I had my own apartment, I would put the trash out, and miraculously in the morning, my next door neighbor, who was a man, he will always just take it out. I never asked.
Right. No, I mean, like you said, to each his own. I mean, to each his own. I feel like
what's for you will be for you. I ain't upset at nobody.
I feel like oftentimes it becomes, when do you become a functional adult? It's kind of like, it seems a lot of the rhetoric becomes, I could do this, I could do that. And it's like, but no, I need somebody to take care of just the little things. And it's like, no, you are an adult. You are responsible for your trash. You are responsible for your way of life. I'm not going to take care of any bills that I didn't create. Mm-hmm. So if me and you got together at like say 18, 19, mm-hmm. and we worked up and that was the agreement that we made, like we said, hey babe, we want to put this thing in place. Mm-hmm. Fine. And then that we actually reached them goals. Yeah. I'm with it. But if I meet you at 44, the bills you came in with, you are responsible for. Now, as a byproduct of being with me, I might say, hey, babe, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this. But that's just a byproduct of being with me. I'm not going to allow just because I'm a man that I need to take on someone else's responsibilities that I didn't cause or create.
No, and I totally agree with that. And as a woman, I'm allowed to take my time with you. I don't... we've been dating for 6 months now and we haven't done anything because you don't want those responsibilities. So why would I give you something that you don't want to really be responsible for?
I will be totally okay with that. Like I am, totally okay with that.
But
because
it doesn't stop with just paying bills. And no, you're not just meeting somebody and paying bills. But honestly, as a woman in my stature and knowing my capabilities and what I could do, don't request to be in my time knowing I'm active and I'm always building and creating, because I am giving you that time. And during this time, if you're not helping me level up, I feel like I'm wasting my time. You see what I'm saying?
So I do see what you're saying. And I think that we just become so much of a transactional society that has now become the new norm. I'm looking
for reciprocity, not transactional.
No, and it's funny you say that because I am big on reciprocity. Like if that energy got to go both ways. But I think the reason why a lot of relationships do not go the distance now is because we technically don't need each other no more.
No, that's a lie. Because if we didn't need each other, these conversations would not be this big.
No. Okay, so let me tell you why, right? There was a point in time where a man couldn't get into certain spaces, or if a man was to get into a house, right, and he had kids in his house, he would absolutely lose his mind. He would be confused. He wouldn't know what to do. But now you got more men that know how to manage the house, that know how to manage the bills, that know how to change diapers. And statistics has shown that when single men, mm-hmm. fathers, are the primary provider, that child performs a whole lot better than when it's the mother just alone. The statistics, that's not me. That's not Zachary King saying that. That's statistics.
That's okay.
So
and statistics can have them.
And then also too with women, there was a time period where women wasn't allowed in certain spaces where a woman couldn't work. Nowadays, women make just as much as men, if not more. So where do we actually lock arms and come in that with each other? When do that happen? Really
just sitting down and really figuring out your preferences for real, and learning how to convey them. I feel like with women are emotional creatures. They are just now starting to figure out they need to have emotional intelligence. And men need to also learn how to speak and being able to convey through the emotions of what they're trying to say to them, because women automatically, you know what I mean? As soon as you're saying something that they necessarily don't feel is right in their body. So, and then it takes them a while to spiral out of control and calm down, then say, women need to show up more when it comes to emotional intelligence. Men need to have a little more patience when it comes to expressing themselves. Men are a little more cutthroat because they already got their idea of what the woman is going to do in their head, which is probably true. But it doesn't help that you're pouring salt in the wound at the same time. Now, what do you expect her to do?
Well, I mean, in a man's defense, you can't expect for someone to open up to you and express their truth if he already feels like you're going to dismiss him. I know a lot of times where even as men, anytime that we express our grievances, especially as black men, anytime we express our grievances, there's always this sentiment of just shut up and deal with it because you're a man. And there's no one ever want to look at our perspective until we become a hashtag. And then it'd be like, oh, let's listen to the black men. But normally, like, just like now, you talk about like black women listening to black men.
Yeah.
One of the people that come to mind was Kevin Samuels, right?
I love him.
A lot of people dislike him. A lot of people
even though
dislike
some
him.
of the things he was saying was all unhinged as crap, I loved him because he sparked something in the atmosphere that needed to be sparked. It was conversations, is energies that need to be changed. If I don't care about his delivery, he is helping that gray area. He is helping to disintegrate that. It's about to become black and white again. Basic and simple, and I love it.
So we had about 3 sisters I got on this platform that would totally disagree with you.
That's fine.
No, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying that like they just totally disagreed.
And we should all have a Kevin Samuels seminar and sit them with me.
I would love for us to sit down and have that. But I'm gonna tell you what the premise of what we were talking about.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels, R.I.P.
Shout out to the Godfather. I make an analogy that if I was in a fire, okay, and I needed to get out, I wouldn't give a shit how the firefighter talked to me. I want to get out that building.
Right.
I feel like Black America is on fire, and we needed someone to just be a straight shooter. But the women on the platform also said they're like, you can't talk to me that way. I shut down. And again, I think it's a little bit of both. One of my biggest problems with Kevin Samuels that he did, I think he allowed the conversation to turn personal, and I think that's where the crappy conversation started coming from.
Because that was nothing but live shadow work.
Okay,
that was shadow work live, and not for nothing, you can't really sit over here and keep having roundabout conversations and never interject yourself for growth. Right. So it has to come.
I agree. What I mean by personal, I think that when he brought up hard issues, because I think what Black America, the problem that we have is keeping it real means keeping it the same. And we got to change. We don't change in our community. The same shit that was going on in the 2000s was going on in the 90s, going on in the 80s. It might look different now, but it's the same thing. We have to change, especially now. I feel like now with the new administration coming in, I think right now it's like we as Black folks really got to huddle up. Like we have to really come together, put together some of these differences and have some really tough conversations. I think it starts with our relationships, because it started with our relationships. You know, when we got out of, I'm talking about post-slavery, we had the highest marital rates. There was on times where the Black man and the Black couple was outpacing the white community. And then now we at this place where we've been 14% of the population for the last, 30, 40 years. We have the lowest marital rates, the highest, the Black men is 6% of the population of the U.S., but yet we make up 50%. Allegedly. Yet we make up 50% of the violent crimes that's here in the country. We have
to. We make up the ones that are highlighted.
So you think it's a propaganda? You think you think so?
I can go down North Philly, right? And yes, someone might be shooting, but I know I'm not the target, right? Okay. I can go downtown that night and go to an ATM and get stabbed and raped for GP. At least down north, somebody got an objective and somebody in mind. I know that I'm not the target, but downtown, even though this white community seems all cool, I actually am unsafe. I don't know. It's very unknown safety there, and it's just like it's also what's highlighted is what's highlighted in the media. I think my niece goes to Penn State. A kid just died there.
Okay, so while
I'm just saying, where is that at on the news?
So while I definitely see where you're going with that, and I wanted to give you time to cook. And everybody, they got them numbers off the Census Bureau. Everybody don't even fill them out right. Go on. But I okay. So just off the top of the head, and I know I'm missing Young Dolph, Nipsey,
Yeah.
PNB Rock.
Yeah.
Well, some of the other slang rappers. So it's so many Pop
But we
Smoke.
they knew that, but
So
they
hold
were
on, hold on, hold on,
targets.
hold on,
Though.
hear me out. Hear me out. So what I'm saying is, there was men that couldn't go in their own community. There was men. The safest place for a black man should be in his own community, and we all know that as black men, some of the worst communities you're going to come across is our very own. Let's just keep it real here. We don't need census for that. We don't need for the white media to tell us that right there. If you don't believe me, walk around North Philly right now with your chain on. You will be the target.
No, but that's the point that I'm making. Like,
no, don't get me wrong. Black folks are great. We are good people.
Right.
But we definitely got some stuff we got to address.
Right, I agree with that. But I also feel as though they knew they were going to be a target if they had a chain on, right? Just like a girl knows that if she's dressing provocative, she may be approached wrong. So it's just like putting yourself in these spaces and looking the par or fitting in or whatever the case, or looking real chill in these spaces.
Okay.
And it's sad that these young men couldn't come back or whatever. But again, like I said, those attacks weren't random. So they are going off the trajectory of, they know that we're going to be a target because we're growing and developing, that crab in the barrel mind. So they can come and give us numbers on our statistics because they know they will come. But what's the statistics of a random school shooting?
So the reason why we use statistics.
And how many kids are getting killed at this time? Versus this Young Dolph. Young Dolph was one person that got hurt. PNB Rock was one person that got hurt during the shooting. Nipsey Hussle was one person that got hurt during the shooting. But when white people are going to kill, they are creating massacres. They don't have one person in mind.
So let me ask you this question, and this is just how I personally feel. Why is it that anytime that we bring up some of the issues in which black people need to do better on, the very next thing that comes up is all the things that white people do? We be the first ones that say white people don't matter. We got our own things going on. Why do they come up in conversation? And I'm not saying that to you personally, but I'm just understand because that's often the common sentiments amongst blacks. Every time we talk about the issues in our community, they get compared to whites. But but in the same breath, we also acknowledge that they don't play by the same set of rules as we do.
I agree. And to put a spin on that, it's vice versa, because the same thing happens in their community. When something's going on, they want to look at us because you got to have something to compare it to. I didn't bring it up. It was brought up because of the statistic thing.
Right.
And who are making these statistics? The people who are studying us, i.e. not our people. So we have to bring up the things that they do because these are the numbers that they're coming back for us. Why are we letting their numbers affect us and how we are thinking to begin with?
So that would imply that the whoever is in charge of the numbers are actually kind of, they're falsifying the numbers, so to speak. It
doesn't even matter if they're falsifying it. It's the fact that
because
you're
the
not
statistics,
our people.
Because statistics are statistics. Facts are facts.
But where are you going to get these facts and statistics?
I mean,
are you 10 toes down in the mud?
Well, that's what the statistics are for.
Or are you on your Ring camera getting reports?
But that's what the statistics are for, though. The statistics are for to provide you with unbiased truth. That's what statistics are for.
So are they statistics unbiased?
So that's what it's for.
So where are their statistics?
They have plenty of statistics. So that's what I'm trying to say. You would believe that their statistics somehow are manipulated? You believe that they're somehow, so you believe
they're
that
less broadcasted.
Okay. Okay.
They're not a highlight. They're not. When do they ever?
So you feel like the statistics that are being presented, like when they say something like single parent households produce children that are more likely to drop out of school, to more likely go to prison, to more likely self-delete, to more likely become abusive, to more likely be abused. You don't think that statistic is a reflection of what goes on in the community?
That statistic is real for anybody's community because you can still have all of these things.
But per se, the black community, though.
In the black community, all those things hurt us. In the black community, all those things hurt us. If you put those same elements in the white community, it hurts them as well. It's not even about the communities, it's the elements that's being placed there. We're having the guns and the trucks that they're leaving here for weeks and months at a time. You can never park a truck with merch, whatever kind of merch it is. And you can't go up 309 and leave your truck right there and think that it's okay because them people are going to call. They want you to remove it. Like even their trash is picked up differently.
It is. And you know what?
They don't even have trash when they got a truck that comes by, lift up the dumpster, dump it, put it back down,
right,
and roll.
Right. But Waste Management is a private company, right? Waste Management is a private company, and not saying it because what you're saying is absolutely true. Like I remember when I was younger, right, and we had a basketball court right in the corner of my block, and we used to right by the train tracks. We used to see white folks coming by and dropping off trash.
Yeah,
we swore our neighborhood was crazy. We was like, yo, our neighborhood, yo, anything could go down, but we didn't realize that they were destroying our neighborhood. So we realized that we became part of the problem because we would celebrate that. We would think that that was the coolest shit in the world. And I know people are now like, yo, man, that sounds crazy. But back then when we was younger, it was just our norm. It was just the norm to see people dropping trash. It was the norm, even in our community now. Even in our community now, the way it goes down in our community now. And I think that's why I think this platform is especially important for our community, because we need to have a platform in which we can have hard conversations and no one is being degraded.
Yeah.
There's no one is talking about your personal life. There's no one talking about me. We're just talking about the issues, and we don't gotta agree. We could not agree at all, but we having a conversation and we getting it started. So I definitely want to just say I appreciate you for that one right there, because I know the questions are tough and I know is real, but you know,
emotionally not at all, because I want our people to grow. I want our people to be better, and sometimes they gotta hear it from somebody other than a man sometimes, and they can call me a pick-me shorty or whatever they want to say.
Right.
But 15 years from now, they're going to wish they picked up that podcast and listened to my words that I was really saying to help them in life. So.
Okay. So with that being said, we're going to close out. Please let the folks know where they can find you at, you know, your IG, your business. Show the mug. You got yup, there we go right there.
Life's beautiful when it's clean. You can find me on IG at Queens, QUEENZ, clean. That's on IG. Or you could find me on our website at queenscleaning.com. And you'll find my personal page there too. It's called Aboriginal Queen.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate your time, your effort, and energy. I appreciate your perspective. With that being said, this is Zachary King for the Future is Female podcast.